Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome back again. I'm so excited about this video I'm going to make for you today. And the reason being is so many people have asked, hey, I love the idea of saving all this money using these digital files, these digital stamps to make cards, but I am just not like simply like this. I'm just not sure how to get started using them. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, I am going to show you using the Silhouette Basic Edition. That's the free software from Silhouette. If you have a Silhouette machine, you'll be able to use just the free software for what I'm going to show you today. However, if you have a Cameo, I mean not a Cameo, a Cricut Explore Air, a Maker, a Scan and Cut, you would want to buy the business edition to have your machine be able to cut around each of these things. But as I said, I'm going to show you today just how to do this with the free version. If you'll be willing to fussy cut around these images or these guys, because you don't have one of these fancy schmancy machines, right? And by the way, speaking of fancy schmancy machines, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you what, if you're thinking about getting a Cricut Joy, please, 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 before you get it, look into getting the Silhouette Portrait 3. You can do so much with it. Print then cut, and there's just a lot more that you can do with it. And it takes pretty much an 8 or 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to my Silhouette software and get started. And again, thanks for joining me. You're going to love this. Okay, I wanted to show you the files that I'm going to work with today to show you how to do this. I bought these from Etsy, and they're from a shop called Pretty Graphic Design, and notice they're on sale at the date that I'm doing this. So these are the prices I paid, $1.25. I just love this paper right here because it's stars, and I like this because it's got the same nutcrackers that I'm going to use and for my cards, and then here are the nutcrackers. So I've already downloaded them and unzipped them, and I've opened up the first nutcracker right here. He comes in at this size. If I click on him, you'll see he's about 6 inches tall by a little over 2 inches wide. Okay, that's pretty tall for a card, unless you're maybe doing a slimline card, which he would be perfect for. But as I said, what I'm going to show you today is not how to make a card, but instead, I'm going to show you how you can use this free software to make something larger than your mat. Because I think that you will love, love, love having these decorations around your house this year. I did something like this last year. I absolutely love them, so I'm going to do them again. So I'm going to make them about, let's see, maybe 12 inches tall. Let's see, if I use my Cameo, oh, remember, I'm not using a machine at all for this. I'm just adding my offset right here, so it doesn't matter what size I make him. So check this out. If I click on him like this and I try to add an offset, let's see what happens. I'm going to come way over here to the offset panel and say offset, and it added a perfect offset just like that. So let me ungroup, and you can see the beautiful offset that it added, right? And I can leave it just like that if I want to, or I could change it with the nodes, but I'm going to keep it simple for you today. So I'm going to delete this offset. And the reason why is I'm going to make it a little bit larger so it doesn't have these many detailed cuts, so that when I'm cutting it by hand, if that's the way you're going to be doing it, it won't be as difficult. So I'm just going to take him again and say offset, and this time I'm going to make the offset go up. So I want you to notice what's happening right in here. As I make the offset go up, you see that how that's going out and it's becoming more rounded, and it's not going to be as much trouble to offset. Now I might not want it quite that big, so I can make it a little bit smaller. I thought I could still do it as long as I didn't apply it, but maybe not. I'll just leave it like that. So before I move him though, or after I move him, it doesn't matter. I'm going to click on this offset and make it white. Okay, just like that. I'm going to bring him back in here. Going to grab both of these things and I'm going to center them. Okay, perfect, just like that. Now, and then I'm going to group these. And the other thing is I want to have my Nutcracker be double-sided. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy right here and I'm going to come over here to this replicate panel right here and click on that. And I'm going to say mirror to the right. So there's the opposite one that's going to go in the back, just in case they aren't mirror images of each other. So I could just print these out just like this now and then go ahead and start coloring them with my Copic markers or my paints or whatever I want to have. So that's how you can use this easily in this software, and you do not have to have a cutting machine. So I can change this right here, and when the machine, I'll say none. And for the cutting mat, I'll say none. And media size, well, I actually have 12 by 17 paper, so I think I will tell it I'm going to do 12 by 17. Now, here's the thing. Most of you don't have large cutting mats like that. So instead of my using, or not cutting mats, but large format printers, so instead of my trying to show you how to do that, let me show you what you can do with this software that you can't do in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to come over here and get this knife tool right here. I'm going to come up here and change it to poly. Okay, so my knife, I have it at outline, changing it right here with this drop down menu for poly. Remember now, I'm doing all this in the free software. I'm going to uncheck auto apply. That's going to allow me to fix any mistakes I might make before the knife tool actually goes into action. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut through here and just cut down along here, kind of like right in this line. And right out through there. Boop. All right, I have to double click to end it. Now remember, it didn't cut anything yet. So now I have to say apply. And I need to grab both of these things together and group them back. Group. And I can go ahead and put this one so it's centered again. Let's see, this should be down like that. Okay, and group. So actually I shouldn't center this. Let me show you what I should have done. So after I did this cut, I should say apply. And then before I move anything, I need to group these two pieces so they stay exactly aligned. And I need to group these two pieces so they stay exactly aligned. And now, whoops, I didn't want to group all of it together though. Let me ungroup this. Just group these bottom ones together and just group the top ones together. That's it. Okay, so now these will fit on my paper. So let's see, I'll leave him over here. And I will go ahead and put maybe a media size of 8.5 by 11. So we'll know if he will fit for print then cut, or for print. Not for print then cut, because remember this time I'm just showing you how you can print this out after you added the offset and use your scissors to cut this out. So all I need to do now is go to File and Print, and there it is. Go to Print. I'm going to print it on this printer because the other one is my sublimation printer. For my preferences, I'll make them high. Say OK. And I'll say print. And then that one is going to print. Now again, it's not going to cut with my cutter. If I wanted this to cut with my Cameo, I would have had to have done this. Put on, well first, I would have to say the cutting mat is there, auto, machine is my my portrait. And then I would come here and put on these lines. Now, I might have to adjust this a bit so it will fit See if I can get it to fit even. I might have to twirl some things and see. Will this fit this way? Yeah, that fits that way. So then this should be able to fit also. So now what I could do if I wanted to is I could send this, and I'll show you. File and print, and I'll print this one so you can see the difference. Print. And I'll bring them both over here to show them to you. So one's going to be a print then cut with my silhouette and one is not. Now, if you wanted to do this with your Cricut machine, I'd have to double check and make sure these dimensions look like they'll fit. So I could grab both of these and go File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, and I'll name it Nutcracker 01, I think he was called, for Cricut. Now, I'll save this as a JPEG file. Oh, but remember I told you, if you're doing this and you want to save it to cut it with your Cricut machine, you have to have the business edition. Look right here. If I try to save this as a JPEG, I only have 3 options in this version. However, since I have the business edition, I can allow you to view it in the business edition. And now you'll see what the difference is. If I go to File, Save As, or Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, now I can name it Nutcracker 01 for Cricut. And I can go ahead and now check this out. Look at all the options I'm given. I could save it as SVG, PNG, JPEG, and I know for print and cuts, I always save mine as JPEG. Y'all might find something better to use, but that's what I've found works best for me in my Cricut machines. So I would save this as a JPEG and say, okay. Let's see, I should save it in this file probably. Yeah, okay. Nutcracker 01 for Cricut. Okay, save. I'm going to leave all these numbers the same and say save. Then I'll come over to my Cricut machine and to my Cricut software and open that for you and show you how this will look in Cricut. So I'll say New Project, and I'll open this peek. I'll go to Upload, Upload an Image, Browse. Going to look, let's see, not there. In my downloads that I just did, it was in this pretty graphic design one, and specifically it was in, oh no, I think it's this one. Yeah, there it is, Nutcracker for Cricut, and there it is just like that. So I'll say Complex and Continue, and I'm going to take my Select and Erase so I can get rid of all the extra stuff around him, and then say Continue. Here he is, ready to go. Save. Bring him in, insert, and now you can see that it says it's too big, right? Too large, but that's because they're both hooked together. So what I can do is just get a shape, get the square, unlock it, bring it over here. I might want to do this. I should have moved them further apart. I try to learn that lesson and I always forget, because I don't want them to overlap each other when I'm trying to slice. Okay, so there we go. So now I can grab these 2 things. Notice in the panel over here, I only have 2 things selected, so I can slice. And now I can get rid of all this extra stuff I don't need. And now notice that there's no longer a warning here. And I can go to Make It, and on one sheet I'll have this guy, and on another sheet I'll have this guy, and it'll cut around those lines. So let me stop right here and get those 2 pages and show you the difference. Okay, before I go over there, I have one more thing to show you, and this is in case you are fussy cutting around these images. Right now, we put this beautiful offset on here, right? But if you know anything about Silhouette, and you will learn as you use this, this is the line And if the line has a weight of 0, as you can see right here, it says 0 for the point size, it's just a cutting line. It's not going to print. So let me prove that to you. If we go to File and Print, here's the print preview. There's no line around here that's going to help us to know where to cut. So I'm going to cancel this. Now, if I select all of this instead, and I come up here to this line point size right here, and I change it to maybe like a 0.75, something 0.50 or 0.75, and I can even change its color by going here and making it like a lightish gray color. Now check this out when I go to File and Print. And do you see the preview now? You can barely see it, but it's there. You can see this little line around here that's going to print. So that's something I needed to do before I printed it, so I had a little extra line. And I'll show you the difference between these three things right now. Okay, I'm going to show you the three that I've done. This is the one that's incorrect, where I'm just going to have to kind of fussy cut around this just using my eyeball, because this is the one that I forgot to change the point size of the line, or the weight of the line, to a 0.50 or 0.75. This one I did change the point size, and hopefully you can just barely see there's a little line around here that's going to help keep me safe or honest or know what I'm doing when I cut around this with my scissors. So this is the one I'm going to fussy cut with my scissors, following the line. This third one here is the one that's ready to go for my silhouette machine, because I have the little registration marks that I turned on for it. And I did not print one out for my Cricut machine because I only want to make one of each of these many nutcrackers that are offered in this. So let me go ahead and begin cutting these out. I'll actually go ahead and open up my little portrait machine that I love, and I'll put this on the mat. And I had some other things on my mat because I was making some little flowers. But after I get these off, I'll put this one on my mat and let it cut. And while it's cutting, I will cut the one that I put the lines on with scissors. So let's put this on here. As always, the solid square goes in the upper left-hand corner. And there's a little line right here where you line up your paper. Since this is the 8.5 by 11, it shows you exactly where to line it. And I'll put it just like this. And I'm going to have to hit undo on my software a lot so I can get back to where it was. Not too far back, Patty Ann. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully I didn't move anything and it's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my computer, or not my computer, in my portrait, and I'm going to hit send on here. And right now, if you'll notice, everything is going to cut, all of this stuff. So I'm going to select everything and say cut edge. And the last thing that I cut for those flowers was vellum. So I'm going to change this to cardstock textured heavy. And I'm going to use the cut action and my auto blade. Okay, and I'll put this in. And as I said, as that's cutting, I'll bring this other one over here. It says it's ready, so I'll send. Okay. Going to bring this one over that has the little lines and begin cutting it. Now, I probably should get a little smaller pair of scissors so I could be a little bit more accurate, but I think this will be fine. So I'm just going to cut and follow my little light line that I made here, remember? So I'm going to fussy cut this part, these two apart. I don't need to have that big thing in my hand while I'm working. All right, here we go. Now, one thing I am going to do while I'm cutting this one by hand is I'm going to leave a little extra piece at the top so that it's easier to put them together. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. The reason why I like doing this in silhouette instead of in my Cricut design space is because when I cut it with the knife, I can put the knife cuts where they're less noticeable. In other words, I don't just have to use the slice tool and just go ahead and slice the darn thing with a square or whatever other shape I can get. I can make this knife follow a zigzag, follow any shape I want it to follow when I'm splitting this thing in two to work with. So there's that. So now I got to cut up on this side. And notice my machine is already done, and I'm still working on the first piece of this. But it's okay. You know, if that's what I have to work with, that's fine. You can still make really cool stuff. And like I said, put this nice offset on here with the free version. I need to check and see. I wonder how much of the print and cut we could do with the free version too. If we could change, trace him and color him online. So I'll try that next. But so right now is what I'm talking about. I can just go up like this and leave a hunk here. And on this side, I'm going to leave just a bit up here by his neck. Because then, when I go to glue these two together, I'll have an extra piece behind so that I can easily glue them together. So let me get this one done. Just curious out there, how many of you like to use Copic markers? I don't have any Copic markers, so I've been learning to use my Distress inks here, and I bought a few more today because they were on sale. But I've been using those with the brushes that hold the water brushes. If you watched yesterday's video, you probably saw me using those. Just starting to learn how to do it. Now on this piece, I'm not going to leave an extra lip because I'll have that other piece from behind. Just go up like this. Just following that very light line that I have. And I'm using a nice sturdy cardstock. Now remember, I'm going to have this be double-sided. So you'll want to stick with me and see how do I put these together. If you've not seen that yet, I use my hot glue gun, and my favorite hot glue gun I've left at a restaurant that I go to because on Wednesday night we're having a crafting night, and we set it up the other day so that we're ready to go next Wednesday. Hey, maybe I'll broadcast live from there so you can see what we're doing. But see, now all I have to do is put these two pieces together like this, and you will barely even be able to tell that this was cut, right? Especially after I put a little white hair here for his beard and I color him in. So what I can do now, if I want, just take a little bit of this, and I got a little bit too much of this. Okay. And put this one together. And let's see, here we go. Okay, looks pretty good, just like that. Okay, let's see how tall he is. Let's see, from 0 to, well, he's about, let's see, he's about 12.5 inches tall. So he's going to make a nice centerpiece. And like I said, I'm going to have him doubled, and I'm going to put the sticks in between to make him really sturdy. I'm going to add some white stuff right here on his beard, glitter maybe on his star, maybe some hair here. Not exactly sure what all I'm going to do, but it's going to turn out cute. This is the one that I cut out with my machine, and you saw that it cut rather quickly compared to what I had to do by hand. And again, I'm using my little tiny machine. I do have a Cameo 4 and a Cameo 3, but I absolutely love that little portrait. Now, on this one, I could have added, before I cut it, an extra piece to help me to put these together, But since I didn't, let me show you my trick I do. Just take a scrap of whatever, cardstock you're using and just put glue on it. And then take one piece of this and stick it on here. Just like that. And then once you have that stuck on, you're going to bring the other piece on. And now that's not going to show it all, because remember, this is going to be double-sided, so that's going to be on the inside. And there's that. Perfect, just like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate these and color them, and then I'm going to put them together like this so they're double-sided and they'll stand up, and I'm going to have a wooden block for their base. So let me stop for right here and think whether I should continue on or start a new video. Okay, as you can see here, I'm using a watercolor brush and I'm using my Distress inks. I'm pretty new at doing this, so don't expect perfection, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to do this. If you don't have fancy markers or anything like that, all you need is one watercolor brush and whatever kind of paints that you might have, whether it's Distress inks or you can have even Dollar Tree watercolor set. So I'm just going to go through this and do a bunch of these with different colors. When you're done using a color, it's very simple. All you have to do is squeeze some water out of the pen, because that tube is filled with water, and brush it onto an old paper towel or something like that until the water runs clear, and then you're ready for the next color. I like having this Tim Holtz glass mat because I can mix things over there if I wanted to mix colors over there on that little glass part, and it's really convenient. I'm going to fast forward ahead to get to another color. So this time, as you can see, I'm just using a watercolor set, an inexpensive one. It's a Prang set, and I've made a flesh tone kind of. If I was doing this for real, I probably put a little peachy color in there too, because to me it's a little too yellowy. But anyway, this works for demonstration purposes because I don't want to spend all day doing this. So that's all I think I used the watercolor set for. And I'm cleaning out the brush now, as I told you. And I'm going to go ahead and start coloring his other parts of his clothing. And so I'll just show you this just for a little bit, and then I'll fast forward again, like I said, so that you don't have to watch me color this whole thing. So you'll notice on the Tim Holtz mat over there, this time I actually put my stamp pad down on top of it and just kind of rubbed it gently back and forth so I could get some more dark color in there easily. So I'm just kind of shading it a little bit. And again, I really like how these Distress inks work because they are water-based, so they work with the watercolor. Eventually, I'm going to start using stickles and glitter, and could have used cotton balls. I think cotton balls would have been easier, but I used to be well, I guess I still am, a spinner. You can spin wool and make it into yarn. So I have all kind of wool left, and what I'm actually using, or going to use for his hair, his mustache, and his beard is wool that I had from back in the day. So let me pause here again, or fast forward to something else. Okay, I've gotten out my stickles and I love using them. The only problem I have with the stickles is I have a hard time letting them dry long enough and not put my finger in them. So right now what I was just doing was drying my image so that I made sure that there was no wet parts, because I'm going to start using some glitter first. If you'll notice, the first thing I did was I took waxed paper and I wax papered over top, all over top of him, so that the glitter's not going to stick anywhere but on the parts where I put the glue. Okay, so then once I've gotten that done and I put that back in, let's see. So I decided to put a little bit more glitter in a few more places. I think that maybe the paper was just a little tiny bit wet, so some glitter did stick, but as you'll see there, all I needed to do was use a really soft paintbrush and brush it off. And now I'm putting glue down, and I'm putting that wool, sheep's wool, that I said I have onto him for his hair. Using a paintbrush so it's not the back of it, so it's not sticking to my fingers so badly. And I think this makes it really look cute when you add all this kind of stuff to him. Just brings him to life. So I'm putting a little bit more. Then I will go on and do his mustache, I believe, next. Then I forgot to do his beard. I went on to his little buttons on his jacket. Oh, there we go right now. And I'm putting actual buttons on there. I happened to find 6 goldish yellow buttons, and I thought that would be cute to add some more dimension. And now I'm going to put his beard on and his mustache. So again, I think he's turning out rather cute. So I'm back to some stickles now. Red stickles in his little hands there. And in different places. This is a steel gray color stickle that I'm using for his boots and his belt, which I didn't quite finish before the video was done. So I'll have to finish that later. And I'm putting like just a bright sparkly color there in the cuffs and in the little cloudy looking things on his legs. Right there I was putting in glossy accents so that his eyes would shine and come alive a little bit. I noticed that I did not do his nose, so I'll have to go back and do that as well. It's still white. But you're getting the idea. Now I'm adding just a little bit of stickles to add just a little bit more pizzazz to where I painted. And then after this, what I'm going to do is I tried to dry him a little bit, but it really takes a long time for stickles to dry, and I kept putting my fingers in them. So I finally set him off to the side, and I'm going to show you what I do next to put these guys together. So I'm going to clear up my spot and join me back here in just a sec. Well, I guess I already have my sticks out. These are the sticks that I use. I use 2 different types, the tongue depressor type and regular popsicle sticks. And I also use a stick like that one that I cut with tree branch cutters, so I can make it any size I need it to be. Then I got out my glue gun, and at this point now I unplugged it, and that's all you'll see. So let me show you the finished product. Okay, here he is all finished. As I said, I didn't take that much time with my coloring, but this basically was a tutorial to show you how you can use Digi Stamps, and this Digi Stamp in particular that is from Pretty Graphic Design on Etsy, and I'll have a link for it down below for you. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to use Digi Stamps. You can resize them to any size you want, and you're good to go. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribe and hit that little bell so you're notified when I go live. And by the way, make sure you check out us every other Sunday, where the Digi Club and the Digi Chicks will be live showing you again how to use various digital stamps with your Cricut machine or your Silhouette machine or your Scan and Cut. So thanks again. Bye, y'all.